Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country love and mercy more than life. America, oh America, may God thy gold revive till all success be nobleness and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber ways of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the fruited plain. America, oh America, God shed His grace on thee, yeah, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Yeah. America, oh America, God shed His grace on thee. Crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Whoa, shining sea.
Welcome to the 9th Annual Hour with a Hero. Please stand for the presentation of colors and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the singing of the National Anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated.
My best friend was killed right in front of me. That's hard. You don't forget it, but it's not something that you dwell on. And I was just thinking about him, I was talking about him just this week. He was one of my schoolmates, school chums, and helicopter explosion, and he was killed. And those things happen. We hate it, but we move on.
Since 1776, over 48 million Americans have served their country in the military during times of war and during times of peace. Some of our military men and women were drafted, but most enlisted because of their love for their country. Whatever the reason, these men and women have served their country because of their devotion to something greater than oneself. Many have spent months and years away from their families and homes on unfriendly foreign grounds. These men and women have not only served at home, but also in deserts, jungles, mountains, and swamps on foreign soil. Also, they have slept outside in over 100-degree weather and in freezing temperatures, all while in harm's way to keep our land, the United States, safe for those they neither knew nor have ever met because of what we hold most dear, our freedoms.
Today we're here to celebrate Veterans Day, but what really is Veterans Day? Veterans Day is a special day in the United States in which we are all given the opportunity to honor those who have given their time and some even their lives to serve our country and to keep America safe and our freedoms protected.
Freedom is anybody who is living in the four walls of the United States, no matter what their religious background or what their political background, what their race. They have 100% freedom.
We're still free. We still have a foundation that our forefathers or our founding fathers set up.
Country means to me that I was given the freedom to make my own decisions and to be what I thought the Lord wanted me to be. And nobody would tell me, no, you can't do that. And in other countries, you don't have that freedom. They tell you what you're going to do and what you're going to be.
Ultimate sacrifice, obviously, is a soldier that serves his country in a combat situation or a war situation and gives ultimate price of his life and doesn't get to come home to his family and to his friends.
Because of these men and women in uniform who sacrificed their blood, sweat, and tears, we are able to continue to live in the land of the free. These very freedoms for which we take for granted each and every day.
Love your country. It's the greatest in the world, and take care of it. I hate to see the changes that are going on here now. It's just unbelievable.
You see, most of us here today cannot fathom what it was like to serve in times of peace, and most certainly not during troubled times of war, because our eyes have not seen, our ears have not heard, and our feet most certainly have not walked in their shoes. I am so very proud to live in a land that is free and one that we can call home. So today, November 11th, 2014, Veterans Day. Please join me and my peers in saying thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you to each and every one of you, but not only today, Veterans Day, but every day, for risking your life for us so that we can live in the land of the free.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night.
Freedom is not free. Freedom is the most expensive item this world knows, and the cost is provided by a blank check for a soldier's life, to be cashed at a moment's notice. Mr. Donaldson wrote one of these checks for his life. Fortunately, his check was not cashed, and I am very honored to welcome him to our 9th annual Hour with the Hero. Mr. Joe Donaldson enlisted in the U.S. Army at the age of 18. Mr. Donaldson is a California native and moved to Arkansas, where he graduated from Springdale High School in 1996. Immediately after graduation, he went into the U.S. Army, where he spent 10 years serving our country, including 18 months in Iraq. After leaving the military in 2005, Mr. Donaldson began a career in his family's business at Sam's Furniture and has become known as the Get It at Sam's guy. Please give a warm high school welcome to Mr. Joe Donaldson.
Good afternoon. Thank you. You guys are ready to go home almost here in about an hour. Well, it's an honor to be here. He gave me a great introduction. That was a pretty cool video, too. I've been asked to speak a few different times, different places, but usually it is because of who I am in the business community, and it's usually about marketing or small business in some sort. So this is one of the first few opportunities I've had to share my story and just talk about the military as being a veteran. So this is pretty exciting to me. And just to clear things up really quick, yes, I am the guy from the commercials. As if there was a question, but I get that a lot. Even when I'm wearing a shirt and there's 10,000 spots a month, people will walk up to me and, are you that guy? Yes, I am. But I'm really excited actually to be here to talk about my military experience and the simple fact that today is a day that our country has announced as a day to celebrate veterans. I shared my story yesterday at Central Junior High at their assembly, and at the very end of the assembly, the students had written letters to all the veterans that were there, and so I got one as I left, and I read it when I got home last night, and it was a nice letter. Some of you students might have done it when you were in junior high, either there at Southwest, but the last line in the letter kind of stuck with me, and the last line just said, "Thank you for what you did, as it allows me and my family to lay down and sleep in peace at night." And so I thought a lot about that last night when I was laying down. I thought about my service, my friends, everybody else who has served in times before that I've known. And it just hit me what a blessing we all have, no matter where you come from originally. If you call America home right now at night, you got it made more than 98% of the world. This is an amazing country. And so I love to see how involved that communities and schools get on celebrating a day such as today. So it's really great. This country we live in is not a result of a single soldier or collective soldiers. The freedoms we enjoy here are the result of generations and generations of soldiers that have gone through generations and generations of wars. A lot of them you guys have studied recently, some of them are forgotten about. But there's been wars fought all over the globe that have ensured us the freedoms that we have today. And we'd love to say that maybe they're over, but the reality is there's going to be many more. So the stories that we've heard and the stories we're learning about and the ones we've just experienced in the last 10, 12 years with the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, it's a part of the cycle to maintain a strong and free country as we have, and it's going to continue. There's going to be more wars, and so we need more soldiers. We need more people to proudly stand up and say, I want to serve. So if you think about the life of a soldier, for me, as a guy, the first thing they did was cut all my hair off. So I didn't really care for that. Luckily, women that go in, they just have to have a certain hairdo. But I thought I had pretty good hair in high school, so I really didn't like the fact that as soon as I got there, the first thing they did was buzz it. But, it's one of those things. But you think about the life of a soldier. They work long hours. There's no routine schedule. They train in the extreme hot, the extreme cold, and they do it with little or no sleep and little or no food at times. And from experience, I can tell you, anytime you put all those together, you can bet it's going to be in the rain too, just to top it off. So you're cold, wet, tired, and hungry. They spend over half their military careers deployed outside the country, abroad, around the world, which puts them away from their family, friends, and loved ones. 2 to 3 of those deployments in a 20-year period of time will be combat, real-world deployments, averaging anywhere from 12 to 18 months apiece. So you've got 3 to 4 years of their life that not only are they away from their family, but they're in a situation that we wouldn't call comfortable on a daily basis. And every day that they're there, there's that chance they might not come home. The best part about a soldier's life is that he volunteered to do that. And I think that speaks a lot for our country, there's a lot of countries. I came in at the tail end of the gentleman that was speaking the last hour here, and I heard the last 5 or 10 minutes. And there's a lot of countries that have to force people to go into the military to serve their country. Some of them, it's a mandatory thing, which maybe isn't bad, but our country isn't that way. It's a pure volunteer thing. Our country is the way it is because of people that have made the decision that I'm going to give sacrifices to serve my family and fellow families within the walls of our country. I just think that's something special. They volunteer to do it. So here we are celebrating Veterans Day, those who willingly volunteered and served in the armed forces. One thing I would ask is that anytime you guys are out and about, and hopefully I'm going to get to it here in a minute, hopefully there's some here that plan to serve. But it's been about almost right at 10 years. This coming spring will be 10 years that I've been out. And I remember when I was in, I did a few deployments overseas. So there's a lot of time spent in airports, spent in transition traveling. I cannot count the times I was sleeping in an airport or just walking through somewhere and someone comes and taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, thanks for serving. We appreciate it." Great, thank you. And as a 19, 20, 21-year-old that's away from home and away from your girlfriend and away from everybody, that's really encouraging. It really brought a positive effect to what you're doing and kind of just reassured you that, hey, I'm glad I did what I did. Somebody actually looks at me and has some gratitude and appreciation. So it's really important when you guys are out and about, when you see them. I can see a few in uniform here. I still to this day take a chance every time I see them. You know, there's recruiters and there's National Guardsmen here in Northwest Arkansas. Anytime I pass by one in a grocery store anywhere in a uniform, I don't tell them I served or anything like that. I just tap them on the shoulder and said, "Hey, thanks for your service." And you can see that glow in their face. And I did it to a young man probably 6-8 weeks ago. I can't even remember. I think it was a gas station. And his face just lit up like a Christmas tree and almost a goofy look. And instantly I thought, I bet that's what I looked like when people used to do it to me. It's just one of those, "Oh, thank you," you know. But I remember how exciting that was when somebody said that to you. It made everything you did kind of worthwhile. So to me, days like today are to kind of remind people that there's an importance in that appreciation to tell veterans and people that you know that are serving now in your family. Quick question for those of you that are here right now: how many have family members, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, that are serving or have served, that are veterans? Wow, that's awesome. Now, how many of you out here are considering going into the military and serving? Not quite as big of a number, but that's really good. That's awesome. That's something that's an important thing. Our military has shrunk literally about 25% in the last 20 years. But yet the world's more populated and there's more issues globally. So it's more important now than ever that people volunteer to go stand and fight for our country, if needed to fight. Hopefully we don't have to, and hopefully you wouldn't have to, but if you're willing to take that stand, it's important. And it's going to become more important as days go on and populations grow, and we want to keep the freedoms we have now. So I've got to couple minutes here. I just want to really take and share kind of my experiences in the military, kind of what I did, and I've got some pictures to show you of when I was in, kind of the places that I went. And I'm 36, and I was in right at 10 years, just under 10 years. So the military was almost a third of my life, and to this day I've got a very blessed life right now. Great business. My family all works together. My wife works there. So I love my life. I love everything going on about it, but there is still nothing on a daily basis right now that can compare to those 10 years when it comes to memories and things that hit so hard down inside. Because when you share a combat moment with a brother to your left or right, it hits really deep. There's just not too many more experiences in life here in the normal world that can relic the depth of the emotion that goes along with that. So my story, he mentioned I graduated from Springdale High in '96, And I had actually decided that I wanted to go in the military way before that. Again, my name is Joe, so when I was about 6, I thought I was the ultimate G.I. Joe. So I was probably 6 or 8 when I started building booby traps in my parents' property. You know, I'd dig holes and I'd literally try to trap my brothers and sisters, and I camoed my face with mud, and it was kind of my childhood dream to go in it. My dad was in the Navy. All my uncles were in the Navy. Of course, I didn't want to be in the Navy. I wanted to be the camo guy running around like G.I. Joe. So my plan for all my school years was to go in. And so about halfway through my senior year, I enlisted. I went into the infantry, which you guys probably know at this point. You know, you go to the military, you can do, there's all kinds of jobs. But I wanted to shoot the big guns and jump out of planes and, you know, the hula-hula stuff. So I went straight in the infantry, graduated the last week in May in '96, and about 10 days later reputed to boot camp. 3 months in boot camp. My first duty station was the 25th Infantry Division, which is in Hawaii. So how cool was that? 18 going to Hawaii. I was stoked until I got there, and then I realized I was never going to be there. So it's pretty cool getting stationed there, but as soon as we got there, they started sending us to Thailand and Japan and Australia and different places to do training with foreign armies and learning how to fight in the jungle, learning how to fight in the mountains, in the desert, and all the different types of territories that we could be called into action for. So I got there, went to several different deployments. After 3 years, decided to come home. I got in the Guard here in Arkansas. I went back to work for the family business and did that for about 3.5 to 4 years. And then, of course, September 11th happened, and they immediately started calling up troops and sending them overseas. So naturally, my unit got a call, and we got attached to the 4th Infantry Division out of Fort Hood. So we hopped down to Fort Hood, Texas, did a little train-up, and kind of practiced warfare in an urban environment because we were kind of used to training in the woods, and we weren't going to Vietnam. We were going to Baghdad, which is a whole different, you know, type of environment. So we had to do some training and kind of learn how to fight with buildings and in the city and with lots of people. It's a whole different type of environment. So we down there for probably about 6 months, and then we hopped on the birds and went to the sandbox at the end of '03, and we stayed there till March of '05, which is when I came back and decided to make the furniture business my lifelong career. I probably would have stayed in the military lifelong. At this point, I had a family to consider. I had a daughter now, so when I looked at it, this was just a better choice for me at the time. But I gave my 10 years, and it was enjoyable, and I loved it. But that's kind of my story. Those are the years I spent in the military. I'll tell you, if you love traveling, it's definitely a good career path to choose. I saw 7 countries in 10 years. Only one for real-world combat, but the rest were for training and for training deployments to learn cultural things and that kind of stuff with other countries. And that's amazing experiences that you get paid to do. So for those of you that are thinking about it, there's one of the perks is traveling. So they should have some pictures ready, hopefully. We are having some technical difficulties. You need my flash drive. Okay, I have. There you go. The files are downloading. Okay. Well, I'll talk while you figure that out. So, is there any questions that y'all have at the moment while they get pictures ready? Since this is very casual. Yes, sir. Are you serious? All right, let's come back to that. I'll come back to that. I will do it, just for you. Is there any military-related questions? I get that one all the time. Any questions from those of you who plan to go in the service? Come on, there's got to be some questions right there. I don't think they can, but if they needed me, where's my wife? She could answer for me. It is my passion. Like I said a while ago, once you serve, yeah, that's some good picture right there, I'm telling you. once you serve, and a veteran is anybody who enlists and serves. Now, it doesn't mean they have to combat serve, but once if you are unfortunate enough to get called in that position and serve in a combat situation, to this day, there's some of those guys that I haven't seen in 10 years, but if they're to walk in here right now, I can give them a hug and feel as close to them as I do literally my wife or my child or my family. Because when you're in a situation to where you're carrying out one of your buddies that didn't make it, and your other buddy takes a shot in the leg or something like that, there's no connection like it. So once you do it, I don't think anybody could say no at that point. I've talked to a lot of other veterans that we've had that conversation, and every single one of them at 50 years old, I've had them say, "Yeah, I'd go." Like, I don't think they'd call you, but they'd go because it becomes part of you. Any other question, real quick, before I start here? Yes, sir. Are you one of the ones that raised your hand that said you wanted to go into it? Because he asked how much the military guys make. So to answer that, I don't want to lie or tell you the truth. If you want to go into it, they make lots of money. But in reality, no, they don't. They are underpaid. Honestly, I put the military in the same class that I would put police officers, firefighters, and teachers. It's an area of service. So I think they're underpaid. But to answer your question, I was an E5 sergeant when I got out, and I think I was making like $1,500 a month. So now when you're deployed overseas, you get extra pays and stuff like that. But okay, to the pictures. Oop, go back to the first one, please, because that was a really good one. Yeah, I showed these yesterday at Central, and you could hardly see them, so I'm glad we can see them today. I'm gonna take this out of here. So I can see them. Anybody can tell which one I am? Yeah, I'm the stud on the upper left with the full head of hair. I did not like getting my head shaved. And now I don't have to worry about it because it's all falling out. This was in Thailand. This is my squad in Thailand. This was about 4 months after I got out of boot camp. So, in May of '96, I'm in high school, I'm cruising Fiesta Square with my girlfriend, and 5 months later, I'm in Thailand, lost as a joke in the jungle. But it was an amazing experience. So this was just in between some of our training that we were doing there. Next picture. This is Thailand. We went over there to train with Thai soldiers, and this is their living conditions. So you can kind of see, this is what the village of Phitsanulok looks like, which is about 2 hours north of Bangkok. And there was about 20 of those little houses kind of in a row, and this was actually a Thai army base. So we went there and trained for about 90 days with them. Next picture. And this was our living quarters in Thailand. Just big tents with cots. You can see we're actually just setting up, so we had cots right there that we're putting under the tents. We left the sides up to let the breeze come through because it was about 145 degrees in May, so a little warm. And cobra snakes, like the cobras that come up. By the way, they get about 7 or 8 feet long, and they will wrap themselves around everything, including the hammocks or the cots that you sleep on over there. So if you ever want to go over there just for fun, I hope you like snakes. Next picture. And this is us trying some of the local cuisine in Thailand with some of the Thai soldiers. That is what they call sticky rice, just a big clump of rice, sticky rice, and it's on like a little taro leaf on the ground, and then the little bowls next to it are the type of broth that you would just break chunks of the rice off and dip it, and I won't even begin to tell you what was in those things of broth. You see chicken feet and all kinds of stuff coming out. But it tastes great. So again, if you like traveling and you like trying the cuisine from around the world, military's perfect for you. Next slide. This was in Thailand. This is what the infantry does when we go out to train. We call it going to the field. Civilians call it going camping, but it's not camping because there's not a river, there's not a campfire or marshmallows. So we go out and we play war. We have a really high-tech type of laser tag that you can shoot hundreds of meters with. And we literally have scenarios where you're doing movement to contact and you're trying to take objectives as you would in a war situation. So that's just some shots of us playing war, training. Next slide. I just love that picture. What little boy doesn't want to be Rambo? I will tell you that I made it look really easy holding that weapon. That's our M240 Bravo. That's what we call our pig. That's our big gun. It'll shoot about 3,400 rounds a minute, belt fed, and it weighs about 27 pounds. So you really don't carry it around like that. I was like, just to get the picture, but I wanted to look tough. So, and again, all my hair, miss my hair. Next slide. Now this was in Kuwait. My time is about up, so I'm gonna make this quick. This was in Kuwait, moving into Iraq. These were the tents that we slept in as we got ready to move into Iraq. Pretty much the same thing in Thailand, except we did keep the sides closed here because, again, it was still 145 degrees, but you'd have about 50, 60 mile-an-hour winds come. And if you've ever been in the middle of the desert where there's no trees and there's 65, 70 mile-an-hour crosswinds, the sand is like a sandblaster. I mean, it'll pull your skin off. So, kept the sides down. Next slide. And this is kind of what it's like inside. So everyone asks, how much space do you have? There's 4 of us right there. My bunk's right there. You can see my helmet. And they're about a foot apart, and then you have all your stuff kind of up underneath. And so the 3 or 4 hours a day of free time that you had, that's kind of what you did. You tried to watch movies on your little 7-inch, flip-up DVD player. You read books, and just chilled. So that's kind of how we lived. Next slide. This is in the desert, just crossed the Kuwaiti border, getting ready to move up to Iraq. We were out there doing some target practice or something, not on the camels. You can see the camels in the background. But we were zeroing our weapons and everything, getting ready because we were getting really close to Baghdad, so we were getting ready. Next slide. This was the scariest moment of my life. This was the night we were just south of Baghdad. We were getting ready to move into Baghdad. They put us in the back of Bradley's, closed the doors, and we moved in, started clearing. And as we came into Baghdad, of course, you can hear the ping, 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 ping on the outside of the Bradley. And at first you think, oh yeah, I'm safe, I'm on the inside. Then all of a sudden that back door starts to come down and everybody's like, run, 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 run. Then you realize you don't have all that iron to stop those pings. So I think that is the moment of all my 10 years when it got real. That was the moment when I realized what was happening. Next slide. I think I got 3 more. This is just a shot of one of Saddam's palaces that we took in the first couple months that we were there. So kind of a pride moment for the U.S. military. Bombed the heck out of it, gutted it, and of course we went in ripping all kinds of stuff up out of it, trying to bring back little pieces, which I did bring back a few. Next slide. This is the street. This is right at Anatar Square in central Baghdad. So this is kind of what we did on a daily basis, just patrolling. You can see how dense the market is and lots of people, and definitely a difficult kind of situation to patrol in. When you can't even see where people could be firing from, or snipers or those kind of things. Next slide. Another picture of the city. That's an average back road. You can see there's probably 50 different advantage points that someone could be targeting you from, and all the trash on the streets. And of course, the Iraqi and Afghanistan wars, the biggest conflict we had over there was not gunfire from like fighting in Vietnam in the woods or something like that. It was IEDs and these things, and you just had no clue where they might have been planted at because it was so trashy. You'd really just praying the whole time you're walking that you don't step on one. Next slide. This is me with some of the locals. By the tail end of the deployment, we cleaned up the streets enough to where you can kind of let your guard down just a little bit. As long as you had some security, you can go actually kind of mingle and talk with the locals. It gave us a chance to get a lot of good information that would help us on some future missions and stuff like that. So that's just some of the local Iraqis in Baghdad. And the last slide. And this, to me, is probably my favorite picture of all of them because it really tells the story of what we did in Iraq. No matter what your background, your political beliefs, whether you think we should have fought the war or not, this was the result of us going there. When we first got there, there's no way that guy could be riding that bike or those girls could come out and just hang out with us in the area that we were in right in the center of Baghdad. But after 18 months, we were giving them candy and they were giving us intel. And there was a lot of friendlies there. So that was a blessed moment for me. My clock actually ran out and it's saying stop, 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 stop. So I am done. Thank you very much for letting me come and share. For those of you that are thinking about serving, please serve. And for you, get it at Sam's.
At this time, we would like to present our honoree plaque in recognition for your service to our country and your commitment to the education of students. We honor you and thank you for your service and for taking the time to share your military experience. Thank you, Mr. Joe Donaldson. Also, on behalf of East at Har-Ber High, student body, and staff, we want to recognize any veterans and all military men and women in the audience that have served or are presently serving. Please stand until a certificate has been given to you. Thank you for your service. We would also like to thank the ROTC and American Legion for providing the honor guard for today. Please stand for the retirement of the colors. This concludes this class period of Hour with the Hero. You are now dismissed. Please exit through the side doors.